I think that when you hit a certain age, uh, mortality becomes something that you really have to consider. It's not even an age thing, but I think unconsciously it starts to come into your consciousness as you see people around you who are going away, whether it's family members or it's friends or you know whether it's suicide. I've had uh, three people that I was really close to commit suicide in the past like 2 years, and these are people I was like this with them, and and I'm also dealing with my my dad who's also like um he's talking a lot about it, even though he's in good shape and he's going to be 70 and he loves working and all that. But he's literally prepared me for when he goes away. So I'm in charge of a lot of like all of his finances, his retirement, where his money goes, his investments. Like I know about all that because he goes, you know what? The person who doesn't have problems when you die, you don't have no problems. Everybody else who's alive still does. So he's passing all that shit to me, and I'm like, fuck. I mean, you, life is too fucking short. It's and it hit me even more this year. One, it started with Kobe in February. So the guy goes, "Hey, I'm gonna go take my daughter to practice like I do every Sunday," and then boom, you don't come back. And then all these people who have died from COVID, not their fault, but it. I hate to sound like Trump, but it is what it is. It happens, and more, and it comes down to how much are you willing to give to where you don't feel like you actually wasting your time, and how do you reconcile that and make sure that you can still maintain a healthy relationship if possible with your partner, so there's no hard feelings, there's no you can still be cool, you can still you know talk to each other, um, and some people can do it, some people can't. Some people just choose not to do it and like, look, I'll stick it out no matter what. The next thing you know, it's the same shit for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and they're miserable. And then they go away and they have nothing to show for it. They're like, I was miserable for 30 years and I have no, uh, I don't say no happy memories, but like, because at the end of the day, that's all you have. That's really all you have. Take away the car, take away the money, take away the houses, take away everything you own. At the end of the day, it's about did you did you make connections with people? Did you connect with people? And two, did you leave something behind? And how will people remember you? And I think that if you put those two things in, if you think about those two things um, every day you wake up and you go, okay, how can I help somebody? How can I educate somebody? How can I make somebody feel better? How can I share my story that would inspire somebody? And then how can I create these moments that I can share and that I can cherish for the rest of my life, and that other person can cherish for the rest of their life. Um, I think that's what life is. You
Yeah.
love people, you care about people, and you do your best, and you connect. I mean, we talked about it yet a lot on the last podcast. That's Kim, are you crying?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You touch your heart, Matt.
Oh wow, this is
No, it's like
I'm
well, you,
delirious
I
right
because
now.
I agree with everything you just said.
I mean,
Like
look, you
it's
are
the truth.
seriously Obi. You are prime example of somebody who goes above and beyond helping your friends and people you love, knowing that you have disease, and you could go any day. And you're willing to do all these things, and your heart is huge, and people see that, and it's like a, you know, it's powerful. It really is. And I've yet to hear somebody say anything bad about you. It never happened. I don't know. So,
Mm.
but all I'm saying is that's
Because
what
I feel
matters.
like I want to
You want to hug me now and pick me up above your head?
no, like what I was trying to say is like I want to
In the mic.
I want to make people feel mentally how I feel, or just know how I feel. I don't know how to, the best way to explain this, because me, the way like everything that's been going on through my life, like I think about my immortality like a lot more than like the normal
Sure,
person.
and that's totally understandable.
It's like a daily thought.
Hmm.
So when you think about your mortality like daily, you feel like every day is very important. So when it comes to like tasks like this, like, oh, I want to like, if today is like could be the day, like I want to do something good with this day, like, so I want to make sure I can help you with this podcast, or I want to make sure I can do this for this friend, or I want to make sure I can do this for this. I want to make sure I'm like, I I I provide some kind of like service or positivity with that amount of time. It's like I don't have enough. If I wake up and I think each day is like my mortality, like I can't change the whole world in that day. But if you keep going day by day and you always kind of keep treating it like,
Yeah,
oh, this is another, I get one more day to kind of help another person, and then you kind of keep going throughout life that way. It's kind of it's like this weird blessing in disguise,
it
because
is.
you don't have enough time to like
There's
hold a
never enough
grudge
time.
with somebody, or be upset. Like it's just like I'm reminded constantly that, hey, your body's not operating at full capacity. So while
Th-
you're still here, do something good with what you have. So
You
I
know
don't know.
what? And seriously, this is the last thing, because this
Yeah.
this will be the clip that goes viral. I don't fucking know. The You know what? And this has really changed me when I mean, I was already aware of these things, but then when I had my son, and you see how kids live in the moment. Of course they do. They don't have bills. They don't have jobs. They don't have things to. They don't have stress. They don't have any of the shit that we do as adults. And that's the way it is. But yet, you know, you realize that yes, being an adult is hard. It is, because that's the kind of life that, things should get thrown at your face every day, and you're like, fuck, I got to deal with this. Oh, and then with that, and then with this, and then with that, and when it rains, it pours, and you're in a situation where it's so overwhelming that you don't know what to do. You don't know how to handle it if you were not taught before, or you just feel overwhelmed and you get anxiety, anxious, you get depressed, and then you close on yourself and you don't reach out, and next thing you know, you end up dead in the park with a gun next to you. That's what happened to one of my friends. Uh, but I think that we lose this sense of just being a kid. We really do.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's fucking sad. The single fact that people reward themselves once a week. They work hard for 5 days. They bust their ass. They do all these. Oh, I worked. And I mean, people brag to me. Oh my God, I worked 12 hours yesterday. Oh my God, I had meetings back to back. And then I was on the phone all day and blah, 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 blah. And I closed this deal and And then it's Saturday and I'm going crazy and I'm going to wild out. I mean, I'm going to get fucked up. And you're like, why is that? Like, why is it that you feel that you need to wait this long to actually celebrate or to do something for yourself? And the fact, and because it takes so long to get to that point, when you don't even know if you're going to wake up the next day, that you're going to grind for 5 days, celebrate on on Friday, Saturday, go wild, do stupid shit, get drunk, act crazy, and then again the next week. And I'm like, a mindset that works well overseas, especially in Europe, and you've been there. I mean, I'm sure you both travel. Is that it's about the small shit. Not everything has to be huge. Not everything has to be. Oh, it's my girlfriend's birthday. We're gonna go and have dinner, and we're gonna
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. No, stick to the small shit. It's the small. Life is a collection, an accumulation of small moments. You go on vacation for 2 weeks, and there may be three highlights out of those 3 weeks, and that's what matters. It's not about the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like if you wake up every day and you go, hey, I look forward to a nap. I look forward to watching the show. I look forward to taking the shit. I look forward to jerking off and having a whole session. I'm looking forward to this and that. That's
Like,
what
cause
matters.
yeah,
But
like
people want
right
to
now,
make it.
or it's like, no, no, I no, I
Yeah,
get
I'm
what you're
about to do
saying.
that. I'm about to go do that after the show. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna go watch the WAP video. No, but the point I'm trying to make is that it's the small moments, but because we're so caught up in our daily grind and daily, information overwhelming, and so I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and it turns into a routine where it's not even I need to do this or I have to do this. It's like, so what happened to I want to do this? Like I want to take a 30-minute break and watch my favorite show. I just bought a video game. I want to do that. I want to call my friends and say what's up. I want to, but if you turn I need us into I want us, that goes a long way, and you don't need a whole lot. And I think it's a weird thing that it took me years to figure this out, because everybody, sorry, I'm ranting here, and I promise you guys can keep going, but I'm gonna have to go. um it took me years to figure that out, because everybody around me was always like focused on so much on what's going to happen down the road that they were not living. They're literally
Yeah.
not living. But when you have kids, you have to live. Kids are living right now. If they say, let's go build a robot, you're going to build that robot. You're not thinking about, your next week's bill, or you're not thinking about your job, or you're not thinking about anything else, but we're going to build this robot because
Because you're still in that phase where you like, are you still doing this where you just kind of sit there and you just watch your son just like how he absorbs
yes,
the world.
exactly. And I
I
watch,
like those moments. I always just like
he
like I
blows
do
my
it.
mind.
I do it with my little cousin. I just like for instead of watching the TV, I'm only watching him and just seeing how he's reacting to
But you see
all
that
this stuff, and then I was like, I need to like look at something the way he's looking at, just pure amazement
exactly.
at everything that's happening around. Like yeah, you get so distracted by.
You know, adulting is a trap. Adulting 24/7 is a fucking trap. I
I
did
mean,
look.
You don't appreciate anything
You
we're
don't.
anymore.
nurtured we're nurtured out of our youth, actually. And I know you have to go and I have to go. To wrap up, why I got emotional is because just a lot of what you were talking about is things that have been personal to me as of late. And I actually cry when I'm like releasing things. It's not a sadness, and it's like a truth to me. And my own close death, my sister's death, the suicides of my friends as well, back instead of Bach, really brought to
Merci
home.
beaucoup.
Yes, really brought home. Like when I realized that I could die, and like I was close to that. What did I want to leave for my kids? I used to be that hustle girl. I used to be on TV. I used to have these other things, and now I live a life that's very minimal. And and Obi, you've been around long enough to know that I preach this, like finding joy in the smallest things every day, because like people like you and I, we don't know how many days we get. It's not our percentages, our
I
odds are
don't
not,
either.
and you don't either.
I don't either.
And we don't,
Nobody knows.
but,
That's the
but
thing.
just
We're
by,
equal on that.
on that part, we don't know. But the worry that people with chronic illness is that you have something going on in your body that's
Yes.
reminding
Okay.
you.
I understand. Sorry. I understand that. Yes.
Sorry, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
every day you have something that's reminding you of
Yeah.
mortality. So watching my children, like you said, that never goes away. At 16, 17, you know, I look at them and I look at them just as I did when I was 2 and 3, when they were 2 and 3, and the amazement and the youthfulness and the risk that they take, but the small joy that they find in just something that like I don't pay attention to, all of that changed my perspective. And that leads, and that just wraps the point of the relationship that I was talking about, is that when you start to think about your mortality and what you've done with your life and the legacy you've led, is it that you want to be the person who was the martyr that sacrificed yourself in one relationship for one person and you both were miserable and your legacy was misery? Or do you want to be the person that gifted magic? And, you know, a lot of my exes say to me, and I say to them, or they say to me, being with you was a magical time. And I loved that time that we had together. And I would not trade any of that time that we had together because it was unlike anything I've had in my life. Or if you look around our house, you're like, oh, you're in a different place in your house. I move things around because just the a very act of redecorating my living room is magic to me because I can do that now. I didn't have a house 2 years ago when we moved here, 3 years ago. We had a car and 2 suitcases, and I had almost just died. So for me, a relationship ending because we tried to do what we tried to do, and we decided that we still love each other so much to say, go find what it is that you want to do with the rest of your life and your legacy to look like. And if we end up back together, because it does happen, if we end up on that road together, great. If we don't, then we were better people for the time that we were together. It is painful. I think that's also why I started crying, because I didn't think I would talk about like the breakup. It is painful to realize that you have to let go of certain people sometimes that you love so much, but you love them in the ways that there's a difference between control love and loving someone freely and allowing them to be free to find who they are and all of that. And I want that example for my children. Like right now is the formative years of them dating. And the reason that I made the choice I made, the reason that I choose to live how I live every day, is that I am the only example for my children. Yes, TV is going to show them things, society is going to show them things, but
That
on a
WAP
daily,
video is going to show some shit too.
right? Like that WAP video is going to show a lot of stuff to both of my kids for different reasons. My son for one, my daughter for others. But I'm a person who had to look at the world very quickly, differently, from the death's perspective, from my daughter being in the gay community and being bi, from my son and his traumas, and then my sister's death. My parents stayed together so long and they've almost destroyed each other. And now they've come to a place of loving each other again. But like, I just remember if my mom saying, like, if I just would have left at a certain age and let your dad go on his path and me go on my path, I wouldn't be sick. I wouldn't have had 10 surgeries and I wouldn't have had all this stuff. And she's right. And my dad has admitted that he pretty much destroyed my mom. So we all have to look at a collective, like you said, there's these little collections of things that make our life. And that's not just the great things in our life. It's also the experiences, right? The bad things that happen, we collect those things. We either linger on them or we allow them to mold a picture that we decide that we want to be different for ourselves and for our example. And why I got into the work I do is because every single day, my job is not a hustle. I get to work in an alignment of going, if I died tomorrow, I knew that the day that I worked the day before, I helped somebody with something. So when you asked me earlier, is there a Nightingale syndrome, Obi? Yes, absolutely. Like I have lived my whole life. You can ask anybody that knows me and my parents. Like everybody else came before me for a really, really long time. And I'm glad I did that. I have so many connections and I love every single person that comes into my life. I'm so glad I got connected to you two because it's given me a huge purpose this last 2 months in a really tricky time. I'm so happy to connect with people. But at some point, you do have to ask yourself, am I putting myself in a priority state of mind to live the best life that I can live with given the days that I have? Some of us don't know when we're going to go, and some of us do have a period of time that we have been given. And so there's more to you know, my breakup than maybe some other people that might be living the same one. And that's why I wanted to just clarify that and explain that we
Yeah.
live something a little bit more unconventional in our breakup because we know some other things in regards to health and children and life and decisions. But at the end of the day, I 100% co-sign, so we can all go back on your, it's the little things. You haven't been on my social media as long, but most of my stories for the last decade has been to find the little joys in life that will keep you going through that day. So then you can go to
I
the
need to
next.
do more Instagram stories. I never do them, and people don't even see my
Oh
face.
no, I meant like the stories I write. Like I write the,
Oh, sorry. When I
yeah.
think
So
stories, I
for
think
10 years
IG
before
stories.
Instagram stories came,
I forgot about regular stories.
all those stories that people write now, these coaches, they write these long stories. I was a blogger, so I was writing those for a while, and I was always trying to get people to find joy, or like my books are Pain into Purpose or Wounds into Wisdom. There's a reason that I say that, or a message in your mess. But it's a play on words, but it really does mean something to say. And I think, Obi, you know this. When you have chronic illness, you have that pain, turn it into purpose. So the only way that I heal is by healing others. And then I had to come to a realization that that's a God complex almost, to think that you can heal others completely solely by yourself. You can't. One, a person needs to want to heal. And two, there's so many things they have to go through to heal that you're not a part of. And so I was a very egotistical person, thinking that I was helping and that people needed my help. And sometimes the help that they needed was that I needed to step back and let them fail and let them do things on their own, just like parenting. I can't helicopter and hover over my children. I need to
I
let
don't
them.
even do that. I'm like, all right, go ahead, put that fork in that socket, see what happens. You'll learn.
Exactly.
You'll
Like I do
fucking learn,
with my
but you'll
kids.
fail on your own. Look, my son is at a point now where if I help him with anything, he gets pissed. If I give him a banana today, I gave him a banana. He's like, I want banana. I'm like, all right, here's a banana.
Does he say, I do it?
No, 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 no. Even worse or better. It doesn't matter. But like so I peeled it and then I grabbed it and it was already like cut in half. And so he grabbed the top part and then he grabbed the other part and he got pissed, started crying about it. And it was like he was trying to put the banana back together. And I was like, oh fuck. Now, okay, let me grab another one, and you're gonna do it all by yourself. Sometimes I go, no, dad, no, dad, and then he just push me away. Like, no, I'm gonna pee, and I'm gonna close the lid, and I'm gonna, grab the paper, toilet paper, and then wipe my pee pee and all that stuff. All about
Yeah.
if I start doing it for him, it's like he start crying. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's leave it at that. This is always fascinating. Always love talking to you.
You.
Colin,
Thanks for
this is a great
sharing
show.
so much.
Thank you so much again. Obi, I know I got you
All
teared
right.
up a little bit earlier.